One score and 7 days ago, I began a book entitled The Dante Club by Matthew Pearl. It was a really good story set in 1865 Boston and revolved around the three poets Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Oliver Wendell Holmes, and James Russell Lowell. I thought the book was really interesting because we read a few of the author's poems in class, such as The Song of Hiawatha by Longfellow. Um, but really, I picked up the book when I read the little insert on the inside that said that the murders were modeled after Dante's punishments in hell. A man was cut in two, which sounded pretty cool. So I read this book, and it starts in 1865 Boston when Longfellow, along with his cohorts, are translating a copy of Dante's Inferno, and which is part of his Divine Comedy. And during this translation, they face many obstacles, and they have to fight through the Harvard Corporation, who doesn't want foreign literature coming into the country and tainting the minds of their students. And during this battle between Harvard and the poets, these murders occur throughout Boston. And in a major city, there's a lot of murders, but these ones are modeled after the punishments in hell. For instance, a man who was guilty of simony was taken and buried with his face first in the ground, and his feet were set on fire. But to everyone else, it just seems like a gruesome murder. But to the three poets, they know that it's from Dante, and someone is using the poem to get back at someone in town and do these horrible murders, and only they can stop it. So they go on a hunt to find this man, and leads them all over the city, and the killings keep coming, and they become more and more gruesome and lurid, and it's only a matter of time before the poets themselves are targeted, because all of the targets have been upper class Brahmins. And for this book, I did the advertising campaign. I made a poster and a press release for this, and here's my poster here. The Dante Club. And I wrote a little press release here, and I'm just going to read a small portion of it to you. The year is 1865, exactly 600 years have passed since the birth of the great Italian poet Dante Alighieri, when in 1865 Boston it seems as though he has been reborn. A translation of his greatest work, La Divina Commedia, has been undertaken by none other than Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and his entourage, consisting of Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes, James Russell Lowell, and J.T. Fields. Inspired by the power of Dante's imagery and meaning, these literary geniuses seek to bring the Divine Comedy's teachings to the minds of America, but it seems Dante has already reached them. With the translation only half finished, a rash of murders spring up in the city, a seemingly normal occurrence in a large city such as Boston until the details are released. The man murdered his Chief Justice Artemus Healy, and his body was found stripped naked with his gold watch, wallet, and clothes folded neatly nearby. But that is not all, for the body was found outside under a white banner, crawling with man-eating blowflies and wasps. To the uneducated observer, this may seem like a natural occurrence as the body was left outside, but to the literary circle of Boston, this murder speaks of one thing: Dante. Unknown to all but the four scholars, this murder is modeled exactly in the fashion of Dante's punishments in the first circle of hell. There is someone else in Boston aware of Dante, and according to him, the Divine Comedy should not merely be translated, but must be enacted. And so that was my press release, and I also have a little excerpt from the book that really captures the essence of it, and this is the excerpt. Till America has learned to love literature not as an amusement, not as mere doggerel to memorize in a college room, but for its humanizing and ennobling energy, my dear Reverend President, she will not have succeeded in that high sense which alone makes a nation out of a people, that which raises it from a dead name to a living power. And that really concisely sums up the whole book, because it shows how the power behind Dante and how he comes to life in Boston and can have large effects on the people, as seen in the murders. And that's really what the whole story is about, is finding the murderers, stopping them, and showing the power of Dante to the people. And that sums up The Dante Club by Matthew Pearl. Thank you.